So Cam, this scrimmage that just transpired, I'm going to guess that's probably the most important thing we need to hit on the docket, and in regards to anything that came out of that means anything.
Yeah, so people were able to get eyes on the team before Canes Fest this last Saturday. If you got there in time, there was a controlled scrimmage. I put some stock into it because, like, clearly you're working on the field in a practice situation. I don't put that much stock into it because I don't trust Mauro Cristobal. You know, like, he's very close to the vest. So I don't think that he's just like, hey, whoever gets here, you can see everything that we're doing. This is 100% the state of things. Like, there were depth chart games that are, were going on and everything. And but the thing about it is you couldn't hide what the performance was, good, bad, or indifferent. So Tyler Van Dyke starting to look like the Tyler Van Dyke we thought we had in 21, getting comfortable in the Shannon Dawson offense. That was really great. He's going to look for Xavier Restrepo. It's just going to be what it's going to be. Hit him for a long touchdown, also a long pass up the seam for a diving catch, which was great. Colby Young, Jacoby George making some plays. So your top three at wide receiver looking pretty settled. Tyler Harrell needs to be more consistent catching the ball, but, like, you cannot teach that kind of speed. So having him integrate into the passing offense is going to be very, very advantageous for Miami. It's about time to have a dialogue about Jakari Brown. He's not progressing in terms of his passing accuracy. He had a really bad day in the scrimmage. And that was met with all the reports coming out of, well, he's doing so much better in practice and he's really growing and developing, blah, blah. If you're not doing it when the lights come on, and the lights weren't even on, you know what I mean? If you're not doing it when it matters, does it matter? You know what I mean? So obviously there's the element of his QB run ability, which is mitigated in scrimmages because you're not having your quarterbacks run live. But the minor progression, we'll even call it moderate progression, in his deep passing is not enough to overcome the deficiency still in short and intermediate area accuracy and feel for passing, like, when there are people around in that, short and intermediate section of the field. So that is opening the door for Emory Williams to make a charge, true freshman, to make a charge for backup quarterback because, Jakari Brown is not able to do it. And I know it was only one session, so take it with a grain of salt, but, like, I find it hard to believe that everything was perfect and then it was as bad as it was on Saturday during the scrimmage, or as perfect otherwise in terms of his progression during spring, summer, and fall camp so far. And just the one day was the solo outlier. I find that hard to believe. Might be true. I just find it hard to believe. So, yeah, Emory Williams is making a big charge for this backup quarterback spot. And, hey, man, let the best guy play there. But still, hopefully, neither of them play there because Tyler Van Dyke will be healthy is the goal. Running back, A.J. Allen, transfer from Nebraska, really showed something. Run hitter, which Miami's not had since, like, Duke Johnson's freshman year-ish, maybe. Like, shades of Travis Homer and DJ Dallas did it a little bit. But, like, he got loose. And that was a transfer that I'll say I overlooked a little bit at that position, saying, yeah, we have talent there. I mean, we have guys and everything, but Henry Parrish, he's fine, and he's probably going to be your starter because he's consistent and everything. But A.J. Allen really took a step forward. Donald Chaney Jr. trying to work his way back into the rotation, showed well. Also, Mark Fletcher is a giant at running back, true freshman, 6'2", 230. And he also was just running through and over people. And that makes me very comfortable with where that position is, even missing a Trevante Citizen, who I believe to be when healthy, the most talented running back in that room. But that injury he suffered or sustained last year was really catastrophic. And he's had, I think, 1 or 2 setbacks from that. And, you know, to the point where, like, I'd even asked, like, when was the last time we saw him? Because they weren't even having him go to, you know, anything, but he was pictured at, like, media day at the beginning of fall camp. So at least, like, we know, okay, like, hey, Trevante Citizen's here and around. But yeah, with the other guys stepping up, that makes that position a lot stronger and diverse, especially when you have a home run potential back in AJ Allen, Louisiana native, by the way, in case you were wondering where he was from originally. Offensive line, I think the starting offensive line can be okay, but from where we were, which was atrocious, to okay is like 2 steps forward. And that's really important to have. And that's going to be the most important thing, because like last year we got quarterbacks hurt, like plural, because the offensive line was terrible, you know. But even being just under league average or league average is such a huge step forward. So we're still waiting to see what will happen with Zion Nelson, who's been held out. But even absent him, that top 5 group seems to be pretty decent. Need to find those guys like 6 through 8, 6 through 9, you know, in case somebody gets dinged up for a game or a play or something, especially backup center. We have some guys I think that we could put out at guard and tackle and rotate some things around. I don't think that we have a backup center behind Matt Lee worth the salt. So, you know, Matt Lee, he's going to have to be a really key guy who plays pretty much every snap. On the defensive side, Ruben Hurricane Bain, I mean, kid just makes plays, man. So he's doing that. My guy, who I've been telling you is going to take a leap, Nigel Kelly, starting in front of Jafari Harvey at one defensive end. So, like, he's continuing to show himself primed for a big year. Cameron Kinchins continues to be named everybody's All-American before the season. The talk of the scrimmage was the fact that James Williams was working with the second team. He worked with the first team and the second team and was at safety and nickel and backer. But he did start his day with the 2s, not the 1s. So I know that a lot of people were, you know, talking about that and everything. James Williams was going to start. James Williams is going to play several hundred snaps this year. This is not a thing where he's dropping down the depth chart to not playing. There are other guys at other positions that are having that, but not he. But besides that, Francisco Mauagoa, the linebacker brother, that's your starting middle backer from day one. Set it and forget it. KJ Cloyd, transfer from Louisville, is really giving Wesley Basaint a run for his money at the other linebacker position. And also Cloyd has very good pass rushing ability. So that is interesting from like a multiplicity kind of standpoint, where he can do things differently and be used in different ways. So there's that. And cornerbacks just continue to fight and develop. The Brown brothers, Damari and Devontae, playing well. Jadaeus Richard, the transfer from Vanderbilt, Jaden Davis, and Corey Couch. There are numbers to throw at the position there. We'll see who ends up starting. But I think that, like, that group is better than the sum of its parts. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, there's no individual superstars like Tyreek Stevenson, who's going to, you know, was a 2nd-round draft pick, so he's going to make his team. DJ Ivey seems like he's going to make the 53-man roster for the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, every time I go on Twitter, I'm seeing him intercepting passes and making, you know, plays. Again, I mean, he was with the 2s. I even saw one of the interceptions was against the 1s in Joe Burrow, even in camp. So, like, again, he wasn't the superstar that we might have wanted in Miami, but I think that DJ Dallas's game does transfer better into the NFL because of his size and the contact rules. And regardless if he wasn't that superstar and everything, Stevenson and Ivey played like 99.5% of the starting snaps as outside corners last year. So you don't have that kind of talent, I don't think, right now. You can develop those guys into the talent, you know, like maybe the Brown brothers and Rashard. But Rashard, he's going to move all around everywhere because he's that kind of Swiss Army knife. But really looking at that. So those are the things that I mainly take away. Also good to see 5-star Jaden Wayne really starting to take a step forward heading into his true freshman season.